Hey everybody, welcome to Piano Lessons with Elvin, episode 12 I believe. This video was a specific request I had from David out there who commented in one of my videos about doing the remaining fingering for some scales, so I very much appreciate the comment. I hope this video helps, man. So with this video I'm going to just do all of the ascending fingering with the right hand for every blues scale. Really with blues, you're not... Yeah, you could do the fingering with left hand, of course, that just makes you better. But if I'm thinking what's the most logical application, almost always when you're doing blues jams or blues, you'll be doing the scale on the right hand, chords in the left. So that to me would be the best use of your time here. I'm going to show you all of them and then give you some thoughts on the most common blues scales, because really there's like 5 main ones that you'll hear the most, so those are the ones that I would say you should get proficient at first. There's some that it's like they all exist, but like there's some I've never played in, so it's almost like, should you learn them? I guess just for the sake of knowledge, go ahead. And I have broken these up into a few groups based on fingering, and I'll talk about some of the principles behind that. Some of it is easy because it'll be the same color scheme. There's 3 of them that are white, 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 black, white, 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 and those all correspond with the same fingering. So I do like to break it up into groups like that. Before I show you all of the fingerings in relative quick succession, to me the biggest point of fingering that explains why there's different ones will be the anatomy of the hand. I explained this a bit in the last video, but the thumb hangs low. Black keys are at a higher tier than the white keys. So if you want a natural position, fingers on the top for the black keys and thumb hangs underneath for the pivot point. As a rule of thumb, no pun intended, we want to try to avoid thumbs on black keys or pinkies in that case, because when you have these outer fingers, they force the entire hand to have to go up to the top tier, and when the whole hand's up on the higher tier, it's more difficult to reach to the white keys. Not that you can't, of course you can. This is kind of the difference between, the most efficient natural fingering and more awkward ones. So it's like, I want to throw that out there because you can for sure play scales amazingly with bad fingering. And to me, I just want to show the most universal fingering, what should be the most comfortable and natural. And there's going to be rules of, like, even with these, there's a few rules of thumbs again, where I think there's 2 scales where you could start with a thumb on the black key, and I'll explain why specifically on those. But yeah, so there's just some of the, that's the overriding principle for all of these scales, is thumb location as the pivot point for everything else, for efficiency and natural movement. Okay, I'm going to grab the phone and just punch through these here. Okay, so here is what I wrote here for the first few groups: D, E, and A blues, which will do this fingering: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and these are all for right hand. So I'll go ahead and do it on D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and always the same fingering going down. Now these 3 are the ones that always have the same color: white, 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 black, white, white, white. So me going up to E, white, 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 black, white, 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 same fingering: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then A blues, same thing: white, 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 black, white, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So the perfect thing, if you had your eyes closed and someone just moved your hand randomly and you didn't have perfect pitch, all 3 of those scales should feel exactly the same. Now the second group I have here is group C and G blues. C and G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You'll notice they have the same fingering as these 3, but I separated these out because of the color scheme is different. This one's like white, black, white, black, white, black, white. And these 2 have that same mold. So just like with these 2 should feel identical to each other. So here's me starting on C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Then on G. 1, 2. I just noticed, this is funny, at the very end, I guess the pattern's a little different, like 2 white keys at the end, C blues, but close E enough. You'll see it's white, black, white, black, white, G, white, black, white, black, white. So, still great to pair them. They pretty much feel exactly the same. So the nice thing is those 5 scales all have the same fingering, so that's like the best first set, and you can subdivide it into those 2 sets. I separated F and B because they're just distinct from each other and they stand alone, so from all of the other ones. So here's F, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I brought this up a bit in the last video here, but the reason why this fingering is different, I'll show it here, is if I did 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had to do my thumb, this is just not as efficient. You can, of course, do it, but having the thumb here, very easy just to throw it here. And then your fingers, without even wanting to, are already near the keys. And the last one here, B minor, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now let me point out what would happen if I didn't do the thumb here. Let's say I just kept going. Now let's say I go, oh crap, and I do my pinky. Well, how am I going to reach this A? This, like, every finger is here. There's no choice here. I could do this, which sucks. I could do something. Now if I were to throw my thumb down, look at all of my thumb's already over here. Huge hassle for me to get here. So what might seem at the moment, whatever, uncomfortable choice, you might not want to put your thumb here because you go, why? My 4 is right here. A temporary discomfort, seemingly, even though it's not really that uncomfortable, for long-term gains. So the thumb here, which seems, like I said, a nuisance at that moment, now frees you up. You have the whole other half. So that's another nice point with pretty much all fingering. You might find yourself doing something that seems unnatural at the specific moment, but if you zoom out and see the continuation of the pattern or scale or whatever, you'll see that that fingering is placed there for a specific reason. So everything else is easily accessible. Now, one thing with these first scales I showed you, the first 7, they're all white key ones. These. Now I'll do the 5 that are on black keys. So and pretty much all of these have their own distinct shape. And I'll kind of explain why it's the same rule of where do the thumbs lie. We want to keep as a rule of thumb, try to avoid thumbs on black keys, So thumb as the pivot point on white keys. So C sharp blues. Once again, thumbs chilling here. Look how nice it is for these digits to reach with my thumb being here. Then my thumb's already at that lower plane. So easy for it just to fall in line. Now here I could do the thumb again, honestly, and keep, my thumb on every white key. But the argument against this would be when I'm approaching the end, I don't need to worry about transition points because I'm done with the scale. If I were to keep going, then it might be awkward. Now I'll have to throw my thumb to this E, which, maybe that's not the best, not the end of the world. So if I were to keep going with this scale, I might put my thumb there so I can maintain that structure. And then when I end, I don't have to worry about it because it's the stopping point. So D sharp blues. We can also view C sharp as D flat blues and D sharp as E flat blues. It's the same note. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's really fun to play. All black keys except for the thumb pivot point. So this one feels really nice. And this is a really great example of how you can see the efficiency of pivoting with the thumb. Okay, we got F sharp. There we go. And the final one here, G sharp. And there's a fingering for G sharp here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to point out the most common one out of, so there's all of the black key ones. Oh, there's one more here. B flat, which I have standalone, or A sharp, but no one's going to ever say A sharp blues. Everyone's going to say B flat blues, and that's one of the most common blues ones. So get this in your back pocket. This is very common. So here's the last one, B flat blues. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Okay, now the most common blues scales will be these 6. Jeez, I can't even read. My handwriting sucks so bad. C, G, D, that's supposed to be a D. I can't write. C, G, D, E, A, B flat. Yeah, my pen is starting to go dead, so these are what must be the most low-budget pianos and videos on earth. So, but I guess maybe that's endearing, huh? That's at least what I'll say is my excuse. So these are the ones that you encounter the most. I've played in so many blues jams and different bands, and taught so many blues songs for students of all ages and all grade levels, and these are just the most common. The ones I would say is the least common out of everything: F sharp blues and C sharp blues. If you had to neglect, I'd have G sharp in there as a third place. D sharp, aka E flat blues, that one you'll see more often. That it feels really nice on the hand is one of the big reasons for it. So if you had to choose 3 to neglect, C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp blues, then the main ones here to get good at, these 6. And then if you want, there's the F, B. This is written in such a funny order. So here's all of the white key ones. Here's the black keys. Yeah, so I hope that helps. I'm trying to think of anything else I maybe have missed. It's, I've sort of already explained the concept behind it with fingering here. It's, when I was first doing these blues scales, it doesn't seem very intuitive. And the scales feel pretty awkward with the gaps and then the tight half steps in the middle. So I would just say acknowledge that they're all fairly uncomfortable until you get your 1,000 reps in. There's a few, if you do some scales, they just fit the hand so nicely that the fingering makes sense, and you don't really second guess it. Here there might be some fingering choices that seem odd at first, but once you get the groove going, you'll see the bigger picture, where it's where do I pivot? What is in a way you could think there's no solutions, only trade-offs. That's like a Thomas Sowell quote, I think. But I view that with some of these fingerings, where what gives you the most bang for your buck? You could, of course, with any scale, like I said, do bad fingering, in quotes, and still play it successfully. But these will be the most efficient. So, yeah, I'll do one more video to kind of wrap up the minor scales. But I hope this helped you guys. Please leave comments if you want me to do any other videos. I did appreciate the comment from David again. This was nice for me to film. So hope you guys enjoy practicing, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.